Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Deep Space Nine Reactions. I am Fred. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Today we are continuing our journey through Season 1 of DS9 with Battle Lines, the 10th episode, I believe, of the season. It's also Episode 1 on Disc 4 of Season 1 of this box set, which is part of a larger box set, and so forth. Anyway, what do I remember specifically about this episode? Well, number one, it is the last on-screen appearance of Kyle Paka, which is a shame. And technically speaking, we don't see Kyle Paka on screen again until the DS9 expansion for Star Trek Online, which actually has a mission that's a follow-up to this particular episode. Which is actually quite amazing in its own right. That they don't. We'll get into it as I go through the episode when I start watching it here for this video and do my endless off the cuff commentary and discussions with you and everything and so forth. Other thing about this episode, there are some folks out there that have issue with Nana Visitor's performance in this episode in regards to something that happens, and I'm going to have a lot to say about that uh, as we get to it. Normally, I have a longer intro and stuff, but you know what? Let's just get into it here. Episode. Where, where were the files located? That's a unique profile picture of Kira. Was it done for the episode in question, or was it done, or was it an early look for Kira? Warn you about what? Oh, nothing. They don't want you. They don't want you to know anything. Yeah, you're a very big girl, Kira. And her reaction, I remember, is gonna be almost gonna be priceless. And almost like 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh no, it's not here right away. The Kai, Opaka. True, he did offer a tour station, and here comes Kira. A minor operative whose activities are limited to running errands for the terrorist leaders. Oh, that changed Kira's mood in a heartbeat. Break out all the security. And there's our happy little dumpling of a Kai. I'm sorry, it's like calling Kai Opaka a happy little dumpling. You look at how her stature and everything, she is so short compared to like everyone else. And they got to, and it's almost like look, I thought this is like a happy little dumpling. It's like reminds me of my grandmother on my mom's side. Yeah, she's seeing her future. Yeah, it's just over there. Oh, what a shame. Nothing is scheduled for today. But something can be arranged. The look on her face. It's like the way she turns and looks. Like you're gonna take me through the wormhole. It's a slow day. Can you tag along? It's like Okay, Cisco is like, I was like, yeah, it's a slow day, nothing's going on. Come along, come along. What could possibly go wrong? You know, I do love Kyle Paka, the color schemes of Kyle Paka's attire, with like with that magenta purple and like there's a bit of like a darker shade of purple and a little bit of red. You have a child, don't you? I do. Take off the earring, and to give it to him. Oh, it's not the earring; it's the necklace. It's like you can tell the little subtle nature that Kyle Paka is like expecting something. She is contemplating prophecy. She is giving a necklace to O'Brien to give to Molly. It's the foreshadowing is extremely well done, and actually a beautiful score here too. So as we get into the intro here, as the theme, as it were, because there's a rock flying through space. Um, so Kai Opaka was introduced in the emissary. The original intent was for Opaka to be a reoccurring character, to be a mentor to Cisco over the course of the series. Um, but Avery Brooks is a comes across as like that fully grown ass man in his portrayal as Cisco, who doesn't really need that type of mentorship. So there wasn't going to be any room for Opaka to really do much of anything, and so this was a way of writing the character. All this episode essentially exists to write Opaka off, for lack of a better term, and it does lead to other characters like Barile and Win, both of whom debut at the end of the season, if memory serves me right. I know Vedic Win uh, debuts in the final episode of season one. I forget if Barile appears in that same episode. I think he does. But instead of having one religious figure and it's like the politics of Beijing, I hate to say it, eliminating Kyle Paka does open things up for a lot of like the internal political struggles that happen on Bajor that we would see going into season two. Cisco looked annoyed with how with how Kira cut him off. Here we go, we're going through the wormhole. It's like it's a big bombastic score for this. And the same is they took the use of shorter footage. I for that it would have been wonderful. She looks she's looking completely overwhelmed. And it's a bit of a compliment on Kira's piloting, which Cisco says like it's his smoothest trip through through the wormhole. So that says a lot for Kira's piloting skills, or how many times have she has gone through it at this point off screen. So soon? Yeah, Opaka is totally aware. She has this all-knowing look on her face. And no one else discovered it before? Well, Opaka seems rather intrigued. They're overly cautious. And she doesn't get out often. It's like, oh shit. It's like you can't say no to Opaka. It's like, how can you say no to that happy dumpling of a face? Oh, I should have filled up the water bottle beforehand. Been a rather hot day, like 88 degrees Fahrenheit here in South Jersey on this Thursday afternoon. So you know what we're expecting. So yes, you can look it up. Was the system trying to repair it? There are life forms on this planet? No, it's a moon. That's no moon. It's a penal colony. What type of science officer are you? All right, he's a doctor. But, yeah, might want to move back. Move back and away. The megawatts are over 9,000. Yeah, get that circular motion going for Kaiopaka, folks. Well, we always like it when Kira goes down, but not in this match. In this manner. What's the 1100 in Fahrenheit? What is that? The little exterior shot that you see on the forward window, or is it a digital display on the runabout as it's crashing, is actually quite good. It kind of is a shame that we don't get, there was like no exterior shot of the runabout crashing, which is funny because the toy runabouts were like already in stores at this point, or like they already had mock-ups. That, but it's the first. I kind of think, does the Zhang Kikiang name get used for another runabout later in the series? Because there's the Rio Grande, the Rubicon, the Ganges, dead weight of the of Opaka. So this is what most people criticize this episode over: is the sudden grief that Kira has. It's like the look on her face, and see, Nana Visitor does not get enough credit for this scene. The moment people say, "Oh, it's bad overacting," it's like, no, it's not overacting. When you know when you know how much Kaiopaka means to Bajor, and that there was a friendship of sorts between the between Kira and Opaka, and uh, and the grief, the sudden grief when you know someone you care for is deceased. Like I, I think back to when my mom passed. I broke down this exact same damn way, and anybody who takes issue with Donna Visitor's performance in this scene can go fuck themselves. Is is because if you've ever lost someone that means something to you, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to get devastated. I freaking collapsed literally one floor up from where I'm sitting right now when my mom passed. So So Nana Visitor's performance, it's not overacting. It is perfect for the scene. Every Everyone freaked out because the Kyle Opaka wanted to go on a trip. Simple as that. Now maybe Opaka didn't tell anyone. It's simple. And then there's these assholes. The Mad Max crew from the Gamma Quadrant. Well, a good eye there. A doctor gets sent to this prison colony. Well, why did you come here? That's what he wants to know. Nope, they know nothing. Bashir looks pissed. You know, it's kind of funny. Alexander Siddig is like speaking with a bit of a firm tone here. It really works. If you look at it as like foreshadowing of the genetic superiority disposition that Bashir would eventually end up having, it's perfect. But obviously that does not exist yet with the character. The null, constant internal vigilance. Yeah, phasers don't do shit. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting when you think about, it, especially on Voyager, how many times people get hit with phaser blasts and everything, and like are not affected. Like Star Trek, while opposed to Deep Space Nine, whereas we see how devastating the phasers and disruptors end up being. Golan is at least being forthcoming. Let him know of this of the situation. Uh, and it's why Golan gets brought back in that DS9 expansion for Star Trek Online as a character. Only to be killed off in that, but still, he's at least he's a compelling character. Uh, Julian, that's not going to make her feel better. Opaka is dead. She's going through those grief. The, the subtle acting is like, again, if you appreciate the character arc that Kira goes on through season one, you can argue that this is Kira's low point. Like Opaka was like a symbol that that the Bajorans looked towards during the occupation, and now a little indulgence leads to her death, and Kira is it's not just guilt, grief she is feeling. She is feeling guilt over this whole thing. Yes, you will live. You not only survive this entire series, you also show up in Deep Space Nine on Star Trek Online, as does Bashir. Cisco appears via voice recordings. And then there's these assholes. Shoot from the hip. It's like direct energy weapons. Oh no, that's what it is. They're consecrated pulse balls. Nice roll there by Kira. She brings the house down. She was not going to just stand there. She's a fighter. She knows how to do the actiony things. How many dead? None. There's our happy little dumpling. She has been to the other side, and she has seen that America will elect an orange-faced idiot to be president not once but twice, and that America will be in flames and be turning into Nazi Germany in the year 2025. I make no fucking apologies for that, for saying any of that. So if you do have a problem with it, you're welcome to go watch someone else. Is she aware? Yeah, the surface was approaching quickly. Yeah. I would have been Kira crying. No, I'm sorry with the deafening whine. I'm sorry. No, that joke I do apologize for. The heat passed through her? And then nothing. And then you woke up and walked and then wandered over here. He was dead. He was no more. He ceased to be. But I feel fine. You're an ex-opaka. Nanites. Again, nanites. It would take Bashir about let's see, 2409 is 2410 is where things are set in Stowe. About 30. It would take him about 30 years to figure it out, I think. Yes, Wando over here. Golan was shot at near point. Oh, that's not Golan. You get knocked down. You get up again. It's like, what's the one of my favorite lines that I used to say is like, we will bury our enemies in a mountainous pile of disposable grunts. Fight, respawn, fight, die, respawn, repeat. Essentially. You would think you would get something from the transponder, but, you know, this is Federation tech. Everybody's heading at 230 Mark IV. Oh, faithful Federation officers. Wait a second. I just realized this would have been a great to come up with a parody of the Gilligan's Island theme. How many times have you died? Enough. The middle of a war zone is actually what that line should have been, but still. Hey, he's a doctor. Like if anyone can figure shit out, it would be a doctor. And what I like there is you saw Opaka uh, tending to the wounds and stuff like she's done it before. Yeah, you just die, fight, die. You fight, you die, and you basically live again. Let's realize the Ennis. They could have called it the penis, and the no penis. Like, yeah, if you can't behave yourselves, you will, you will end up there. It was both. It was water and land. And he's right. It's not relevant if all you're doing is fighting. But if you, but here's the thing, though: if the battle is ongoing and no one dies, how can you get vengeance? Look at Kai, the look on Kai, on Opaka's fate. Oh, and the damage to Kira's uniform for her shoulder injury. That's actually really done. Oh, she listens to Opaka. Yeah, they used to defend themselves better, but it's kind of pointless. But if you fight and die, it's all pointless. It's all point. Yeah, because if you fight, you die, and you come back to life. There's no consequence. Yeah, that's exactly what it is there. No, it's going to take about what, 20 minutes? Yeah, that would effectively kill them at this point because there's no cure for the biomechanical nanites. Yes, when you allow them the ability to die. Dude is dude is tilting his head so far back you can actually see up his nostrils. Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? But you know what? At least but he's at least willing. He's at least willing to talk. I mean, again, it's like I was so glad when this episode was followed up on in Star Trek Online years ago. The fact that it got a conclusion, a happy quote unquote ending for these characters is actually quite amazing. Only 2 dozen moons and an asteroid belt. A needle in a what, Chief? Yes, that's how you find a needle in a haystack. You use a magnet. Yes. Dax, you have 8 lifetimes. It's like you don't realize, you never know how. I can't believe that for Dax not understanding how to use a magnet. The analogy that Chief is going with. What the hell is a differential magnimeter? That's because he hasn't built it yet. Like the Chief O'Brien is a much more capable engineer than than LaForge is on so many freaking levels. I wish Bashir was his sleeves rolled up, and it actually gives him some technical expertise there that he's actually able to get a Federation computer up and running on a damaged runabout. Perfect place for a neutral location. Fair enough. Kyle Paka. Oh, to give Kira some a one-on-one scene with Opaka. Yeah. Opaka's calling her out, recognizing herself in these people that she's recognized the fight. Really? Oh, you can't you can't see yourself. You can't lie to Opaka. Opaka knows. Really? Yeah. What do you think she has? What impression she has of you, Kira? The the, the Opaka comes across as a bit more of like a Guinan character, and that's why also why it clearly will not work with they're supposed to if she was supposed to be a mentor to Cisco. That dynamic was not going to work long term. And the costuming department did a great job on the shoulder, on the damage and stuff, and the blood, and the tears on the shoulder of Kira's uniform. The more you look at it, it's really gnarly. Kira, we know you have a conscience. Oh, just grab the paw. Yeah, it's a part of you. It's a part of you. You got to move, accept what you've done. The in this way, now if Apaka wasn't going to stay around, it really would have been more of a mentorship for Kira. Because in Star Trek Online, Kira becomes a Kai, and I think that's actually her fate in numerous different Star Trek fandoms over the years. That Kira becomes eventually becomes a Kai of Bajor. So again, Nana Visitor's performance in this episode, it uplifts it. How many probes does a runabout carry? Because we know at this point that the runabouts don't have torpedoes. Ah, they found it. That is no moon. It is a penal colony, as I said before. I know I did that joke, but what do you expect? I gotta carry this conversation with y'all as if you were here. Julian's been hard at work. That's a hell of a fire structure, too. Does those fires ever go out? And here's the Ennis and a Noel Ennis. More or less on what? That's right. I was right. I remember the nanite comparison correctly. Hey, the the amount of fucks Cisco gives about the Prime Directive are zero. Yeah, just unlike Picard and Janeway, who hide behind the Prime Directive, Cisco gives no fucks about it. Well, of at least two of them. As long as they all obey humanity's lead, that's what the Federation leads. Except you just died. Except you fight, you die, and live again. Again, Cisco's trying to moderate it. Oh, he's not here to be a mediator. He just wants to get off this rock. Oh, it's more like in a matter of minutes at this point, Commander. But still, it's a matter of minutes, not days. Oh, 2 days? No, that is the first people that they. It's like it's the first person people that they met. Again, when you get it, so you can give this no Ellis leader like a red MAGA hat, and you can tell he's the type of dude that would vote for like a mango faced piece of shit. But even if you were to kill them in an ambush, they're just going to revive and get back up to their feet again. Again, the ancient hatreds are just too deep. Everyone, everyone, fight, die, respawn again. And hey, the man called Hawk finally gets to punch someone. It's like, and I say that because Cisco was played, excuse me, Avery Brooks played a character named Hawk on Spencer for Hire and on A Man Called Hawk, and he could kick ass. Bashir with the big dive and save. We can't die here. We'll be stuck here. Essentially. Also, the choreography for that fight scene was actually well done too. No, two of them are human and one Bajoran. And, yes, the logic and the pieces are falling into place here of them recognizing the runabout. What about that 1%? Yeah, and 1% is all O'Brien needs. But the funny thing is, though, Dax is the science officer, and she would naturally be the one to do that, to come up with the solution there. But nope, O'Brien gets to do all the mucking about with the technology and such. Kind of like undermines Dax in a way when you think about it. And there's the kitsch there on why Opaka. This is Opaka's second and last of on-screen appearance, as far as the show Deep Space Nine is concerned, and Alpha canon for Star Trek in general. Rio Grande, the Great River. You know what's funny? This episode has faith with Kira and Opaka. It has treachery with the Knoll and the Nolan with the Ennis and the Knoll Ennis, and it has the Great River with the Rio Grande. Foreshadowing to one of the best episodes of Deep Space Nine that happens much later in the series. So yes, that's one hell of a connection. And if you actually followed that logic, kudos. And here, and Opaka's not surprised by any of this. And this is what Opaka is here for. She was destined to be brought here so she can teach these people how to live, how to get along, and how to get it on. She knows. Yes, she can. Yeah, she knew. She knew before, from beforehand. And it's her great work. And if you believe if you believe in the prophets and everything within the context of the Bajoran religion, again, as I said earlier in this video, this is like the low point of Kira's season 1 story arc. And it's like she loses, she's there when Bajor loses what was the symbol of hope during the later years of the occupation. And Kira goes on that upswing. Is essentially this episode is so important to Kira's development. It removes a lot of it starts smoothing out her roughness a bit. That's what he said, Dax. You're not transporting the Kai. Yeah, they're leaving without you. Not yet. But this can be reprogrammed. Yeah, that's what they want. That's a cure, essentially. On both sides. Uh, but it has to be used on both sides. And again, this will be something. Again, it's so wonderful that Bashir comes up with the cure and a way to reprogram the microbes, and that is used in a major important mission in Star Trek Online. The fact that, again, I love that this gets revisited, but it's years after where Kyle Paka has the time to teach these people how to live and not just die endlessly. Right? And another ambush is coming. And just remember, Golan, the leader of the Ennis, did try to have a conversation. Don't worry, Bashir will find a way to bring Kyle Paka home. And again, it only happens in Star Trek Online. No, your path and Cisco's will not cross again. Your path and Bashir's and Kira's will cross again. Again, in the canonical, you got to go by the canon of Star Trek Online here as the follow-ups. And now Opaka's great work begins. The fade out, end on scene, wonderful. Again, this is a great episode. And again, having the foreknowledge of what ended up being done with this entire concept, especially if you're like me, and for the longest time, where Star Trek Online was like the only true Star Trek continuation of like Prime Trek out there for many years until Discovery came along and stuff like that. The minute they added that Deep Space Nine expansion and gave episodes like this one some follow up and some closure, it means a hell of a lot. Again, Nana Visitor's performance in covering the grief, the guilt, and and again, knowing where her character starts, and the fact that like the Cardassians just left Terok Nor like weeks before the start of Emissary. If you go by like the timeline of when Chain of Command aired of TNG and Emissary, like that's when like they've officially pulled out of the out of the Bajor system and left Terok Nor, Deep Space Nine in tatters. So Kira is coming off of all the anxiety, all of that PTSD, everything associated with being a resistance fighter, and this episode is so important to her character growth, where she's like that conversation that she has with Opaka is like that, like she doesn't enjoy the fighting and everything, that she's fought to live, and then she realizes that she, she in many ways that she liked the fighting and like had no fear of death. So it's so important to her character growth, because without this episode here, what we eventually see with Kira in Progress, like a few episodes later with the Bajoran farmer old man who wants to stay on his moon, and then in Duet with Maritza, it's an important step on Kira's journey of bringing her, of like putting her on that path of becoming like truly, in many ways, the star of Deep Space Nine. Great, Avery Brooks gets top billing, but Nana Visitor is like, her journey is basically the most. Her journey through season one is arguably the most important part of the season. It's like, and I will argue with anyone on that point. Anyway, that will do it all for this week's edition of DS9 Reactions. If you made it through to the end here and have taken any issues with anything that I said, or have like want to follow up to something that I said, leave it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. You be sure to come over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/FredKasdan. Tonight, here on this Friday, we are playing Rise of the Tomb Raider. And over the weekend, I believe I'm also on Saturday. Should be wrapping up Toy Story 3 on Saturday, and Sunday we'll also be doing more Rise of the Tomb Raider as well. And Saturday we should be doing more Toy Story 3 stuff, and then Sunday also Rise of the Tomb Raider as well. So tighten your friendship bracelets, stay safe, watch your hang down, have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye, folks.